Hi there, I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about gossip. We all know we shouldn't do it, and we all know that it doesn't feel good to have someone gossip about us. It's also terrible worrying about whether or not that person is going to find out if you gossiped about them behind their back, and you feel really bad when you do see that person, especially if you like them and value them as a friend, and you think, oh, I shouldn't have either shared their secret or spoken poorly about them behind their back. So why do we do it? Why do we gossip? What is gossiping? How do we stop gossiping? We're going to cover all of that in today's video. Hi there, and welcome to the Booksters Club, where we find daily inspiration from the books you love. Today's featured book is From Science to God from Peter Russell, and today's inspirational thought comes to us on page number 100 and 101. It says, "The Buddha called this right speech. If you cannot say something in such a way that the other person feels good on hearing it, then it is better to retain noble silence. This should not be interpreted as avoidance. I don't know how to say what I want to say without getting you upset, so I shall just keep quiet. Expressing our thoughts and feelings is valuable, but we need to do so in ways that do not trigger the vicious circle. We should retain noble silence only so long as we need to, until we've worked out how to say what we have to say in a kind and loving manner." Spiritual teachings often refer to this principle as the golden rule. Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain and your neighbor's loss as your loss, says Taoism. The Quran proclaims, "No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he desires for himself." And Christ said, "All things whatsoever that ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them." The key is kindness, the intent to cause no harm to others. It springs from the recognition that the light of consciousness shining in all of us is divine. We honor God by honoring each other, for each and every one of us is holy. Nobody wants someone to speak poorly about them behind their back. So, in referring to the golden rule, if we don't want something done to us, we should not be doing it to others. And so you can follow that old adage, if you're in that situation again, that if you don't have anything nice to say, then you shouldn't say anything at all. If it doesn't feel good to have people speak bad about us behind our back, and we don't feel good when we speak about someone behind their back, why do we engage in gossip so much? Well, actually, we're kind of pre-wired to gossip. It is a form of social monitoring. In fact, evolutionary psychologists call this the social need to control free riders. This is something that is just natural and innate in all of us. Yes, it is easy and it is a part of our natural self. I believe in the Bible when it talks about taking off the natural man, that is exactly what it means. We should strive for a higher standard, not just what evolution has primed us to do. We can now have the choice and the option of creating a higher standard for ourselves. And we should be looking at other people as their highest self all the time and be willing to advocate for their higher self all the time and look at what, if we're not able to appreciate that being done to us, then we should not be doing that to others and taking responsibility and accountability for that. We shouldn't be taking the ego's bait of, instant flattery, shallow flattery, making yourself feel better at somebody else's expense. The wise truly knew that we're only hurting our image and ourselves when we treat others poorly, and we should be living up to a higher standard in the golden rule of treating others the way that we want to be treated. And you can use gossip as a personal practice to raise that standard, because gossip happens absolutely everywhere. And so because it happens everywhere, it's a great way to practice raising that standard, to paying attention to when we fall into those traps. So I have 3 ways for you to not only not engage in gossip, but to help curtail and advocate for not gossiping in the presence of the friends that you have. The first tip that I have is for you to be an advocate for the missing person. When someone starts speaking poorly about the person that isn't present, then you can start to play advocate for that person, defend that person that isn't there to defend themselves. Number 2, you can actually state what you do like about that person when someone is saying what they don't like about that person. It's going to allow everyone to know that, hey, not only am I not getting involved in speaking poorly about that person, but I actually like this person, and what you're telling me might wind up going back to that person. Number 3, keep noble silence. Change the subject and walk away. If others are engaging in gossip, don't be found sitting at the gossip table when that person shows up. They are truly going to appreciate your integrity, and everybody, even those who are gossiping, are going to appreciate your integrity as well. They're going to know you're not talking about them when they're not there either. If any of those tips helped you to not engage in gossip, I would love to hear about that in the comments. If you had a different take on that part of the book, a different part in that book, or a different book entirely that you think should be featured here on the Booksters Club, I would love to hear about that in the comments. Thank you so much for clicking that like button if you liked this video and found it valuable. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you're new, because I post new videos just like this every single day. See you tomorrow, Booksters. All of us are, what is the word? Guilty of doing it. You said something about someone behind them, and yeah, I mean, all those things are true. Number 100 and 101 again? That was the last book. That's interesting. Coincidence. Okay. Do not trigger the vicious cycle. Circle. The vicious circle. Okay, start again. Do ye... Yeah, oh my gosh. And Christ said, all things whatsoever that ye would do that men... Oh my gosh. And Christ said, all things whatsoever that ye would that why can't I say this? So referring to the golden rule, if that's not golden, it's a form of social monitoring. In fact, social, what is it? Evolutionary psychologists call this social need to control, the social need to control free riders. Yeah, that was smooth. Okay. I'm gonna keep that right there. Why can't I remember this? Okay. The wise truly knew that we're only hurting. Okay. The wise knew that we are only hurting. Number 1, you can be an advocate. I didn't say 3 tips, did I? Okay. It's okay. Is it recording?